about him that was going to get him the role. But he also had something else about him, and that night he went out and got very drunk with some of the people from the makeup team and started yelling out in a bar in New Zealand, "I am Spartacus, I am Spartacus." They put him on a plane the next morning and sent him home. So then it came down to Stephen and Liam McIntyre, and Liam got the role, you know. But I remember going and seeing Liam and just saying, "Mate, let's just, just find it here and we'll be fine, mate." And so but I remember just getting in his face on that first scene, and he was just scrambling to find the first energies, his first inklings as Spartacus, and it took him a while, to be honest. Liam was 27, whereas Andy Whitfield was 37. Andy had kids, Andy had the gravitas of life, the responsibilities. He had a really amazing sense of sensitivity when it came to acting. When I looked at Andy Whitfield's face, I had no control of that man, none. He was very, very cool, great looking guy, but he could sit there and look at you and just be like Sean Connery or something, just be like, I'd go, "Your wife is being raped by a huntsman Roman." I can't say the next word because the kids there. It's that little thing that goes like that. But, I was in Andy Whitfield's face, going, "Your wife's being raped," and he just looked at me and Griggs, no wonder you smell like a woman. He just had this, it didn't faze him, whatever I throw at him, he could just hold his own. Whereas Liam, I went in there, he was like, "Griggs," and this energy was kind of almost like he fought with me, which was a whole new thing. Andy never fought with me, Andy just said what he wanted and moved on. And it took a while for Liam to cook it, to get it cooked properly, so they could own his space and own his character. But he got it in the end, especially the last 4 seasons of the whole show, The War of the Damned. Liam was on fire. I remember coming over the table in one scene talking about what we had to do, and he came back at me and said, "No, this is what we have to do." Anybody who watches Spartacus, do you remember that scene it was like the second last episode that I think I was in, and it was just Navias, 2 different women. I was really happy to get Cynthia on board, but when Cynthia came on, because her and I just got along so well, like just magically, like she was a great friend. Not that the first Navia wasn't as well, but she was a tough girl to be on set with. It was always about her, which she's a great girl. But we never had a laugh, and Cynthia and I just had a laugh the whole time, and I really enjoyed just having that fun on set, except for the final scene, and the final scene in Spartacus where I got my hair cut off, right, and I had no choice for that scene. I hadn't as an actor, I hadn't figured out how I was going to die. I had no idea how to do this, and it was like the young kid Tiberius was going to be the one who cut my head off, and I spoke to the director, and the director told me his vision of my head being cut off and being in Navia's eye. And I thought, wow, that's really poetic. And I thought, well, it's all about her eyes, and it's all about what she's seeing. That's what And then I sort of spoke to Cynthia just before I went on set to do the shot, and she said, and she was really emotional. And I said, what's up, darling? And she went, I'm just feeling really emotional about the scene. I'm sort of, going to base it upon her father had just passed away like 6 months ago. And I knew how much that had affected her, I knew how painful it was for her. People just hide that, people just don't, on a professional acting set, you're not going to go on about stuff like that, but I knew it was really something that was really deep in her heart. And now she was about to let that out in a performance. And like I was saying to you, sometimes it's difficult to do this, and you put your whole heart into it because you got to, you do resource stuff. Some people call it method acting, other people sort of, method acting is a bit selfish, it's a different kind of thing. But finding those emotions and just, putting them in place, it takes a lot of courage sometimes, and it can be painful. And she was going through that. And I remember at the time just realizing I didn't have to make a choice about me. I had to make a choice about her. I had to be there for her because she was going to go through that. And at the time thinking like, it's so appropriate. Just don't, if you're Crixus, you're going to die and this is your Navia. She's the one who has to live with it. So I remember just looking at her and just thinking, Cynthia, your dad, I get it. And she was just weeping. And I just looked at her, and I remember just trying to just look at her with the most even, supportive gaze that I could give her, so that I could say to her, I understand that. All this crazy, surrounded by all these cameras and everything, and here you are weeping for your father. It's going to be okay. And they shot that. It was beautiful. And it's been great. It's a great scene. Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. And now she's trying to kill me on Arrow. She's playing Amanda Waller. Cynthia Di Roberts. So we have to get Deathstroke.
Hey, I'm a huge fan of you from Spartacus and even from Xena, and thank you for signing my Xena DVD. But I noticed with Spartacus and Xena, all the episodes that I seem to like the best were directed by Michael Hurst.
Yeah.
And I just was wondering if an actor-director is like the best thing to work with for a lot of those episodes, because they seem to always get out the best performances.
Yeah, there's an episode can be affected in so many different ways. That works. On the acting level, when you work with an acting director, an actor-director, you get that. You seem to notice the concentration on performance, and as an actor, you feel very gratified by that kind of attention. So yes, for our personal sense of we're being focused on. Yeah. Someone like Michael's a great guy to work with. There's other directors who really work the shot in terms of the visual style of how they shoot. What lenses they use. The depth of field that they might have. You might have a crazy shot where it's all in someone's face and the background's all moving and